Hello, ladies and gentlemen, subscribers, and YouTube. This is another one of my games from the Beginner's Practice League. I'm still working on my Terran builds and Terran strategies. I'm sort of going to work on each race in order. I've done Protoss to an extent. I'm working on Terran. And after that, eventually I'm going to get around to doing Zerg. And this is a particularly special match thus far because this is the first time I fight a Zerg opponent. There seems to be almost no Zerg in the Beginner's Practice League at all. I don't know why that is. I haven't gotten to playing the race yet, but this is my first Zerg opponent ever. I think, if I recall correctly. And someone gave me a tip on Terran supply builds to start building your supply depot right as your 10th SCV starts building. And I've been working on that. I don't know if my timing's off a little bit, but I still get blocked for just a few seconds. You know, see, there it is. And then it finishes like 2 seconds later. And I still want to avoid that. Lost time is lost time, no matter how small it is. So, you know, that's something I'm working on. My opponent, he's Zerg. Yes, apparently they exist. Apparently he's also pulled an extractor trick or two. He's got an overlord, headed off to scout my base. And he's building a spawning pool on however many that is. I don't know. More drones, overlords, yada yada yada. And I'm building a barracks. See, at this point I was trying to work on my Reaper Rush tactics. I discovered that it takes 3 Reapers to one-shot a worker unit of some sort. And I've been working on my early game harassment with Reapers. So you're going to see me poorly attempt to dual Rax Reaper Rush, and then I discover that it's just quicker to train 3 Reapers from 1 Rax than it is to build a second one, and then attack lab, and so on and so forth. I'm also starting to discover that if you want to early game Reaper harass, you only really need 1 refinery. Because I have a surplus of gas early in the game. And this is also something else that I've been working on. I've been using the orbital command when I'm getting close to supply capping myself out after building my first supply depot. I don't know if everybody approves of that, but hey, I'm welcoming feedback, because I have no idea what I'm doing. He's building a queen, he's building a roach warren, and he's got lots and lots of drones and only 1 extractor up. What is he planning? I don't know. We shall see. And now he's making a lair. Overlord, overlord, overlord. I built a supply depot over here. Don't really know why I did. I guess it's just a good idea to get into the habit of doing that, since I think there's a ramp here in Destructible Rocks in the non-Beginners League version of the map. So, yeah, may as well get in the habit of doing that. And here's where I found out it's just quicker to train 3 Reapers, and I'm researching nitro packs, training SCVs, got my orbital command up, and I'm pretty sure it's, you know, 2.5 workers per mineral field, I think, so 20 total for 8 mineral fields, and that seems to be the number of mineral fields for most maps thus far. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I still haven't quite figured out how I'm supposed to split workers up and move them to expansions and the like. I don't really know how many I'm supposed to do with that. Whatever. I'll figure it out. And yes, I've had issues with the pathing on the Reapers, and so I'm sort of making them go over here, and then go over here, and here I have my first 3 Reapers out, and they're about to move into the base. Meanwhile, my opponent, he's Zerg, he's grabbing an expansion. I move my Reapers in, and I move them back a little bit. And I do this because I realize I haven't hotkeyed my buildings yet. So I just pause for a moment so I can go back here and start hotkeying my buildings, because people keep telling me I need to hotkey my buildings so that I can maintain production while I'm microing my guys around. So I stop and do that for a moment. And now I find some mineral line. But he has a queen and he reacts pretty quickly. He's also got roaches. I run away. I go, maybe I can harass an expansion if there is one. Turns out there's an expansion up. I don't manage to kill it, though. but I do at least get scouting information on it. He's pretty good at microing his roaches, and I guess I could say this guy's a pretty decent opponent. Meanwhile, he's got 400 in the bank. I have a little shy of 800 in the bank. I'm still queuing up Reapers and the like and building SCVs, but I'm not doing much else. This harass isn't particularly effective. I think I killed just enough drones to make it cost effective, and I focused on killing a couple of drones that were mining gas, in the hopes that he might not notice them for a little bit. And sure enough, there's only like one drone here mining off of this extractor. He's got an overlord in front of my natural. I built a command center at my natural, and I'm converting it to an orbital command. I'm building a factory. Ugh, I'm tired. Supply depot. More Reapers. I was going to reattempt the Reaper harass with a larger force. The intention was to see if I can do some more economic damage and perhaps snipe the Queen. I haven't tried Reapers in direct combat very much. I know that they're terrible against Stalkers and seemingly terrible against everything, but I figured, well, it's the Beginner's Practice League. Maybe I'll see how well they do against the Queen. And I go for that assault in a little bit. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, oh, he's building roaches and the like. I need to build a couple factories, and I need to get siege tanks out. And another thing I wanted the factories for was I'm trying a little strategy that I call Reaper Harass and then tech switch into Banshees. Because my theory is that when I Reaper Harass people early on, they're going to start spending money on, you know, Stalkers, Zealots, Marines, Zerglings, Roaches, and the like, and will neglect their detection, hopefully. And as it turns out, at this point, there isn't any detection here, but I try and move in with another Reaper Harass. However, I remember that there's an expansion down here, and I get my opportunity to snipe a cruise. And then I snipe the next, hatchery. Then I snipe the extractors, sort of, after running away. And now I run away again, because now I see that he's got roaches, and he's also got hydralisks. So now I know ground push is coming very soon. And here's where I start to build siege tanks. I got siege tech researching right now. Meanwhile, I move in the back, and this is my second attempt at the Reaper harass. And I see how it goes. However, I'm unaware that there's spine crawlers here. First spine crawler goes down. Second goes down. I managed to snipe a couple workers. I'm not counting the 3 Reapers until I run away. I run away again. I snipe more drones and I aim for ones that are mining gas. And, it's a mildly effective harassment. I think it might have been cost-effective-ish if I add in and consider time spent. I got my first siege tank out, and at this point I go, oh, I have minerals in the bank, and I've got 4K. And I'm going, crap, what am I going to do with it? So I started spamming starports. I got a couple tech labs over here. Excuse me. They were from these 2 barracks, and I put reactors on these 2 and flooded them off. And I was under the impression that the siege tank's range was long enough to cover this little spot, but I guess not. And at this point I get attacked, and, well, I lose my expansion pretty much. Don't be worried, I saved these guys, at least most of them. And for whatever reason, he doesn't pursue me up the ramp. Probably because he notices that I have siege tanks, and if my tanks are hitting him. So I think at this point I'm kind of bluffing, because he believes I have a larger force defending this area than I actually do, and he's not bringing in an overlord to scout it. I lift this off in a few moments, but I don't actually manage to save it. Here I sort of stick a siege tank back here, and then Put this there and pull the block. And just fly by command center. And after this, he sort of just kills my refinery and then leaves because my tanks destroyed most of his force. He could have actually won the game, I think, if he moved up the ramp quickly enough. But my tanks just sort of had their way, and now he needs another ground army. Meanwhile, he's replaced this hatchery. He's building a bunch of spine crawlers and a spire in the anticipation probably of another Reaper harass. But at this point, I'm going to try my tech switch into Banshees. I realize I have lots of minerals in the bank, and I start spamming buildings. Starports everywhere. Lots and lots of starports. Some with reactors, some with tech labs. And my plan is that I'm going to build lots of Banshees and build Vikings to support them. Because at this point I'm expecting I'm going to need some sort Anyway, some sort of, well, use for a Viking. I know he's building a ground army, and I know my Vikings can have a ground form and an air form, and if nothing else, they're going to be useful for sniping overlords and the like. However, this Reaper stays here at this